Hi, this is Stan. Well, we got some equipment portage going on this morning. We're going to head over to Bob's shop. We got a project on the 15-inch gauge trolley that he's working on, so let's get going. All right, here we are over at Bob's, and you can see he's messing with those little streamers.
Yeah, because you see how the height of this aligns exactly with my forehead? Streamers.
So, you know, you get to a certain age and you're always like dropping stuff and like whamming into stuff unintentionally. Bob, I like those seats. Oh,
Well,
they look cool.
Tim Isle built the seats for me. He's my welder. And he went ahead and fabricated all the seats for us, bolted them down to the frame here. So we're getting ready to do seat back wood, and we'll buy the decking wood, although we're not quite ready for the deck just yet. We're going to have to weld bolsters and coupler pockets and draft gear into this frame before we start worrying about decking it.
Did you have any drawings for these benches, or you just kind of ad-libbed?
We just kind of ad-libbed based on the fact that the width of this was 37.5. We wanted to be as wide as we could, mimicking the original trolley that this is a sister to, so we ended up with that width, and that seems to be working just fine for us.
Gotcha, and I love the fact that you got a little bit of angle on those backs.
Oh yeah, that was a negotiation between my wife and Tim as to how that angle should be set exactly. There is a lot going on with that subtle detail there.
You know, if some of you guys may have taken some train rides places, and when they have a little seat that's got a 90-degree angle on that back, basically straight up in the back, what happens is your body's not perfectly 90 degrees when you sit, so you get this little ridge that just jams into your back. So I think a slight angle is really comfortable.
Ultimately, we'll end up with a deck here, a plywood deck. We're going to have 2 inches of foam, and then we'll have a leather type upholstery that protects you from weather and dirt and debris.
Oh, that is fantastic. Let me back out, get kind of a view of the whole thing. It's a lovely day. Well, Bob and I are going to head off and get some plywood, and then we're going to do some rip cuts, and we'll show you a little bit of that. But Bob, you guys are making great progress. What's going on with the trucks on this thing?
Well, that's a separate issue altogether. At this point, we are fabricating the wheel bores. I have the axles completed, and at this point, because these are scrap wheels, etc. like that, we are going to bore them out to the same size, and then we should press the axles on without any problem and then assemble the truck. So that's coming along quite nicely as it is at this time.
Good. Well, that'll be an update for future, but let's head on over to the big store, and then we'll make some sawdust.
All right.
We're back. We got a large 4x8 sheet, and we just had them rip it in half to make it easier for Bob and I to lift the wood. But we could have easily used the 8-footer, that's no problem. Let me see if I can get you a view of the plans here. There you go, rough view of the sketching. So we're gonna slice up some panels for the seat backs and the seat bottoms. And we also got some 2x6s for the decking, and we may go ahead and cut those right now as well. And we'll be using the track saw to make these cuts. And as you can see, we've started making our cuts. And because we're not complete morons, we actually have some shade going here on the driveway. But tell you what, we'll show you one of the cuts being made. did I? Nice butt shot for the camera.
I thought that you appreciate that.
Now, just to point out, having a little jig, this is a DIY jig that I made for this track saw. Normally, you don't measure the waist with a track saw, you measure from the back to the front. But this jig that I made, and I've got a video that I did on this, this jig allows me to use this track saw the same way I would use a rip fence on a table saw, so that I can measure the width of the waist cut. So it's really a magic tool. Maybe if I think of it, I'll put a link down for the video. This is super handy. And there we are, seat bottoms and backs like a glove. And while we were at it, we decided to go ahead and cut the 2x6s that are going to go on the steel frame for floorboards. Sort of like that, pretty easy. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this time. Thank you so much for watching. Bob and I really appreciate it. We hope to see you right here next time.